Hello, beautiful internet family. My name is Dan Davis, and I'm the creative director here at DansTube.TV. And today I've got my first impressions and my initial review of the Osmo Mobile 6. The Osmo Mobile has been a very successful smartphone gimbal range from DJI now for many years, and the Osmo Mobile 6 is a really nice improvement over the Osmo Mobile 5, which was a great smartphone gimbal. A lot of people love that, and it had some unique features to it. But what they've done here is they've added some more unique features to the Osmo Mobile 6, and they've made it even more appealing to people that want to get into that smartphone gimbal space. Maybe you just got yourself a new phone, or maybe you want to take some of your videos and photos a bit more seriously when you're out with your phone. The Osmo Mobile 6 is that perfect opportunity for just the everyday consumer to capture, shots and videos of their family and random things that are happening in their world. Maybe you don't take it too seriously, maybe a lot of the stuff isn't even going to be shared on social media, but you want to make sure that you're getting some memories and capturing some moments that you can share with your friends and family. In this video, I tested the Osmo Mobile 6 with the iPhone 11, so it does work with a lot of different devices on the market. And I found that the iPhone 11 worked perfectly with the Osmo Mobile 6, no issues at all. When we look at the overall design of the Osmo Mobile 6, it hasn't drastically changed in the sense of form factor. So it's still kept that very similar design that we saw in the Osmo Mobile 5, but we've got a completely different color now. And I love the color they've gone for here. It just looks a lot more elegant and even professional in my eyes. I actually love the look of it. I think they've done a great job here. We've still got the similar things that you would expect from the Osmo Mobile range. You get a little kind of tripod that you screw into the bottom. It's a tiny little tripod stand that works perfectly well. You also get the built-in extension rod. So that's something that we saw with the Osmo Mobile 5. It was a new introduction, and they've just improved on it a little bit more here and made it just a little bit more robust and sturdy. I found that when I was adjusting the head of it to get different angles, it did a great job in any position, and I found that it was, again, a little improvement over the Osmo Mobile 5, and such a welcome feature for a smartphone gimbal to be able to extend that out so you can get some selfie shots. You can even just put it on the little tripod and then extend it out so you've got a really cool kind of filming rig without anyone helping you out. So I love that it's such a versatile offering. When it comes to one of the main selling points of a smartphone gimbal, and that is stabilization. So it's still got a 3-axis stabilization. I would say it's just as good as the previous editions, maybe slightly better again. They're always improving on it each time. No major significant improvement in the sense of when the extension rod was out, for example, I found that was a lot more stable and smooth than the previous version. But when it's collapsed down, I found that very similar to the Osmo Mobile 5 in the sense that it's just a really stable experience, and I had no issues with it kind of bugging out or anything like that. One thing I did notice occasionally was that in the bottom right corner, you'll occasionally see a little bit of the gimbal in the frame there. So I think that's just the way that I've actually got the iPhone 11 set up. So I set it up with the wide camera at times. And just because the camera is so wide, occasionally it will pick up the gimbal on the side. But all you've got to do here is just zoom in slightly to crop that out. And amazingly enough, one of the coolest features of the Osmo Mobile 6 is the fact that you now have a side wheel. This is a brand new thing, and this allows you to adjust the focus and the zoom with a side wheel. It's really satisfying to use. I love the feel of that, and it actually adds a whole new experience when you're using the gimbal. The side wheel is really satisfying to use, and I love this addition. Basically, you press it if you want to change between focus and zooming options, and then as you're adjusting that wheel, as you're moving the wheel, it can actually adjust the zoom and the focus point when you're in the DJI Mimo application. So it actually does an amazing job, and it feels very natural to use as opposed to a toggle or previous things that we've seen. A wheel just feels a lot smoother, and I found that over time you can get some really smooth zooming shots, but it also just feels more natural to hold the gimbal system with one hand, and then with your other hand, you're slowly adjusting that focus point or that zoom. I found that to be one of my favorite things to play with. And amazingly enough, when you're in the ActiveTrack mode, it could still, continue to focus on whatever it is that you're tracking. In my example here, it's a person, it's either myself or my girlfriend. and it would continue to track you regardless of where you're zooming into, and it's just great to see how reliable that zooming wheel is. Now, talking about the ActiveTrack, we've actually got a brand new ActiveTrack here. It's ActiveTrack 5.0, and they've improved a lot of things here. It's just a lot more reliable and stable overall. I found that one of the coolest things was that it was very reliable when I was tracking someone from behind. So in previous versions, it did work fine and I had no major issues, but occasionally it would drop out and it'd lose the person. But in these examples I tested here when we were playing basketball or when we were walking down a boardwalk, I found that it very rarely lost us. It was only if we were doing weird movements or if the subject was moving too quickly, then occasionally it might lose you, but it would still pick you up normally in most scenarios. But ActiveTrack 5.0 is very, very reliable. And even when I've got like a hat on, or I'm behind my girlfriend, for example, so it hasn't even got a face, it's just tracking someone from behind, it still was very consistent. And that's something that you want to see because, it's one of the most important things for a lot of people if they're tracking, let's say their kids playing around, or maybe, something that's going on at home. They want to be able to track someone. It's very simple to just tap that trigger button on the back of the gimbal itself and it will automatically go into the tracking mode. I found that that was very reliable as well. I very rarely had to cancel out and try to, draw around a person or tap on it again to track. It just tracked every time that I had the subject in the middle, press that trigger on the back, and it was tracking them immediately. Another really cool standout feature of the Osmo Mobile 6 is this new quick launch feature. So basically in previous versions, you would have to unfold the gimbal, attach your phone, and then you would power on the gimbal system. Now what happens is immediately when you flip open that folding gimbal system, it immediately powers on straight away. You don't even have to press a button. So that is really cool to get those shots immediately. And then straight when your phone snaps in to that clamp and then you clip it on to the gimbal, it will immediately launch the DJI Mimo application, which again is really nice because a lot of the time those shots you want to capture are in a limited time frame, like something beautiful that's happening in the environment, or maybe your kids are doing something really cool and they're running around and you want to capture it. You don't have long to get that moment. So to be able to launch it instantly, almost instantly, like there's not much delay, you just unfold, clip your phone on, boom, you're ready to go within literally a few seconds. That's probably, again, one of the biggest standout features to complement all the other beautiful things that they've done here with the Osmo Mobile 6. For my full review, I'm going to test out some of the other gimbal modes a little bit more thoroughly, but there are actually 4 gimbal modes here, so you can switch between the follow mode, the tilt lock mode, the FPV mode, as well as the spin shot mode. I'm going to be testing those out a little bit more for my full review, but very simple to swap between those. You literally just press the M button on the gimbal itself and it will switch between those different modes within a matter of like a microsecond. When I think about the design and the improvements that I've seen in the Osmo Mobile range, I'll say that the Osmo Mobile 6 is definitely, as you would expect, because it is the next version, but it is the most portable and just the most enjoyable gimbal system to use for your smartphone. I find that the actual clicking point, like when you fold it down and it finds its spot where it holds in place, I find that that's better than it ever has been. Sometimes it's a little bit fiddly with previous versions. This one, it just snaps straight into place and then it just holds its position immediately. And then obviously when you flip it out, it powers on immediately again. So I find that the ease of use has been improved. It's just as small as previous versions. Like it's a lovely design and nice and portable. Like when it's folded down, it can fit really into your pocket, into your bag, wherever you want it to go. It's a nice portable design and I really do love what they've done here. Another improvement I've noticed is with the low angle shooting. So in previous versions, I found that if I was to shoot really low, occasionally you'd have like a limited range of motion to look up because there was a limited capacity to what the gimbal could do, to what the actual motors could move to. But I found that there was an improvement with the Osmo Mobile 5 with that extension rod and that ball point on the end where you can actually adjust that mounting point where you put your phone. But again, it's been an improvement again with the Osmo Mobile 6. I find that it's even better in low angle shooting. And I even find that when I'm adjusting that ball point on the end and I'm adjusting the point that the gimbal is going to be pointing to when the extension rod is out, I find that it's even more reliable than the Osmo Mobile 5. I found that like if I pulled it out too far and it was a really windy day, like occasionally the balance on it would be a little weird. You would kind of get a little bit of jello, nothing major, and it happened in very rare circumstances. But I find that this has been improved again just because they've obviously perfected that design now to have that extension rod built into their gimbal system. It just seems to be a lot smoother and a lot more reliable. It's also really great to see that the tutorials through the DJI Mimo application are extremely thorough, and they guide you through the process of all of the different buttons and features and functionality of the gimbal itself. And there's, shot guides as well, which is a very cool feature we've seen in the past, but it is a really cool way to capture effortless video, and you don't even have to really have any understanding of video or how to capture unique shots. You can just set it up and shot guides will basically do the rest for you, which is really cool. This is something I'll test out a little bit more in my full review. But again, just an improvement over the Osmo Mobile 5, where that was kind of something that was a unique feature and something that was cool to see, but it's just been improved on again, and it's just more reliable. Like, it's lovely to see that as we're moving on, they are still continuing to innovate this smartphone gimbal space. It's not a major upgrade in the sense that we're seeing some crazy big changes here, but they're just perfecting the things that were already amazing. The fact that we've got a few additional features on top of that is always amazing. And the three standouts that I have loved so far is the ActiveTrack 5.0, which, like I said, has been very reliable. I've had no issues at all with that. I also really love the fact that we've got this side wheel now. I find that to be a unique feature, something that I was loving using, and it just feels natural. Like, the placement of it feels very natural. And then on top of that, the quick launch is, again, a very cool feature to capture those shots instantly. DJI are definitely aware of their target audience here, which is the consumer, which is the everyday person. And that's why in this video, I wanted to test in just some everyday shots. I really wanted to test it just while we're playing basketball, while we're walking down a boardwalk, just some everyday basic things that the average person would be doing. Nothing crazy. A lot of the time you see these demo videos and they're amazing and they look beautiful and there's some awesome locations and some very unique shots, but the typical person that's going to buy this might not find themselves in that scenario ever. So in this video, I really wanted to just show you something real and authentic, and hopefully I've done that here. So hopefully you get a chance to kind of see what you can capture as just an everyday person. And I found that the stabilization was great, the ActiveTrack was great, and overall, like, the footage looks really good. I found that even though we were putting it through some different kind of tests here, like especially basketball, where there's lots of fast movement and we're playing around with the zoom and we're just really trying to almost trip it up to see how well it can perform. And it very rarely struggled. Like, it just continued to track us at all times. It would keep us in the middle of the frame at all times. And even when we zoom in, it would still do an amazing job. So I think that the Osmo Mobile 6 is a worthy upgrade here. There are some very cool, unique features here and some unique offerings that you haven't seen before from a smartphone gimbal. And I think maybe if you've got a previous version, like let's say you've got the Osmo Mobile 4 or a 3, this is like definitely a worthwhile upgrade. Even if you have the 5, like, this is a great upgrade with a few of those additional brand new features. And just the way that it's just been, I guess, rounded, like all of those things that we saw, the extension rod, the redesigned gimbal system, like everything, all of that has been perfected here again. And I find this to be honestly one of the best smartphone gimbals I've ever tested. It does a really good job. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate all the support. Definitely let us know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be back with another video very soon on the Osmo Mobile 6. Let me know what other videos you would like to see, and I will chat to you very soon. Peace.